Hello, boys and girls. We are going to be discussing perspective today, or creating an illusion of perspective. When creating perspective, you really need a vanishing point. That's where your vision goes into space. The horizon line, which is where the sky meets the ground, and parallel lines that show you how these lines move into the distance. And you can really see this often in a farmer's field, the way they grow their crops in lines. So that's a great introduction into drawing perspective. And that's where we'll be focusing this lesson today. In this example, you can see the vanishing point way in the distance, the horizon line. This is the ground plane on the left in the cube. And in this example, they show a railroad track. And you can see these orthogonal lines, which are lines that get smaller and smaller and smaller as they move farther away from the viewer. You can see they get thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner the farther they move into the distance. It's creating an illusion of space. Here are some images of fields of flowers. You can see the vanishing point off in the distance. Sometimes the vanishing point is off of the horizon line, a little bit higher. You can see the lines moving into space. Here are the actual fields in a farmer's crop. And that really helps in drawing to show the movement back into space. Here are some artistic examples, which are beautifully done. You can see the hillsides, the farmer's crops, the lines within the earth, the layered landscape. Here are some beautiful Dutch tulip fields. You can see this example in Vincent van Gogh's fields and some student work, which is phenomenal. All right, boys and girls, we are going to be talking about perspective and making images that appear that they're moving back into space. And we are going to be working specifically on landscapes and farmscapes and fields and crops and fields. And what I'd like you to try initially to create some idea of depth is maybe make a hill or two in the front of your image. So now we have a few hills in the foreground, all right? And I want this farm field to seem like it's going so far back into space. So I'm going to draw this line across, but it's kind of a soft line. And it is called the horizon line, where the land meets the sky. All right, and we're going to have our vanishing point way far in the distance. We could also have the vanishing point right on the horizon line, but maybe I'll just make a dot right here. Well, we're going to try to make these field lines all go towards this little point called the vanishing point. Now you might not have a ruler. So sometimes if you don't have a ruler, you just take a straight edge or something that looks like it has a straight edge. This piece of cardboard is pretty straight, and I want to make my farmer's field full of crops. So I'm going to draw a line over. I'm going to stop here and go over and stop at that hill. And you can see I've got one part of my vanishing point and part of my crop showing. Here's the second part. This could be a field of flowers or plants, or maybe wheat. I'm going to have this line going over. So I have 1, 2, 3. I think I might switch to my ruler because it's so tedious. And I'm bringing all my lines, but I don't want them too thin, moving towards my vanishing point. That's the point off in the distance. And I keep tilting my tool, straight edge, could be a notebook, could be a ruler if you have a ruler. Always finding this point
and pivoting from that point. And here are my fields of farmer's field. And every time I kind of make a mark on here, it has this feeling that it's going back into space. It's an illusion, and that's what we're working with. Creating the illusion of space. And here we go. Another line, always finding this point and moving my ruler or straight edge over. If you do not have a ruler, once again, you can just use a straight edge on a piece of cardboard or a notebook or a book. I can use this cardboard. I could also take this notebook and use the straight edge. Simple. Just try to find the straight part of here, the notebook. So you can make do, certainly. All right, now it has this feeling or this appearance of a field moving back into space. And that's exactly what I'd like to try with you boys and girls. Now, we're showing gratefulness towards land and the earth and these beautiful fields. We're going to add beautiful colors. I think in this background here, I'd like to add, another little, maybe a little bit more land up here. Maybe those are bushes going across. I'm going to show a little house. Maybe it's a farmer's house or our house. It's all your imagination. And I'm going to just make a simple triangle on top of a square. If you want it to make it even more three-dimensional looking, go across the top. Keep going across in the middle. Go down. And then copy that angle over and move your pencil over. We just need to go at an angle from the top to the bottom. And now I have a little building here. And it might be quite nice to add another little hill. Maybe we're in a little bit of a hilly part of Wisconsin or in a different area altogether. If you feel like, oh, Miss Kroll, that hill is too big, it looks like a mountain, you can erase it. You can make a smaller little hill. Here, a little bit of a smaller hill going off into the distance. And I really love about this image is I can add a nice moon here, and it'll have a very beautiful feel to it. And I almost think that moon's too big. Here's my house. I think I'm going to put a little building next to this one, right here. And some details here. No, I think my moon is too big. And I keep shaking this whole table. And here we go. And this will make a beautiful image to color. Simple. We've got a foreground. We've got the middle ground with the lines vanishing towards the horizon line. We have the moon, a building, another hill, and it simply sets up a landscape with lots of different areas and a feeling of perspective.
Start adding your details. Within this drawing, I added a darker line in brown. You can use any materials you have. It just helps set the drawing up quite nicely. It's not completely necessary. And when adding color, I want you to think about interesting color choices and working on blending several colors together. So I set down some oranges, added maybe some pink to it, a couple warm colors together, or red over it, and now I kind of added some indigo and violet. I'm kind of going through the spectrum here, the rainbow of colors, and I'm really layering up some interesting color combinations. Of course, I go to the edge of the paper to complete my work, and you really can see with these lines that are converging and moving towards the horizon, towards that vanishing point, it really gives you a feel of space and perspective. And the color, you can really add any kind of fantastic colors you'd like. Just really work on blending, and we really have to work on completing our drawings. Please keep your artwork in a safe spot, because it probably will take you more than one session. For a good piece of work, it takes time. It may take you more than one session to complete your work, and we want to keep it safe and have it submitted for a grade. Alright, well, looks like I've pretty much finished this piece of work, added some more details and colors. Here's some examples of student work. You can see the silhouettes of buildings and outlines of buildings and windmills in the background. Here are some tulip fields in perspective, beautifully done. In this one you can see the wheat field in front and a beautiful skyline in color, mountains. It's really a fun project. Enjoy yourself.